Good day, everybody. My name is Michael Neill from Bookmanager. I'm the founder and one of the lead programmers. And I'm going to be talking today about our new feature called Prepays. In Bookmanager, we've had a problem all the time of dealing with when customers prepay for order, and then some of the stock is in, some of it's on order. And coordinating all this has been quite a nightmare for people. People use different approaches. One way was to take a prepayment, put it on account, and then relieve that when the books come in and apply the credit. Another way was to just sell the items and go into a negative on hand, which had its own problems because then you had to figure out what books, if they come in bits and pieces, have been picked up versus those that have not. So this new prepay system streamlines a whole bunch of that. And I'm going to go through this. It can be quite involved in all the different scenarios, but the basics are pretty simple. And hopefully this first bit will show you the basics. So let's get my screen sharing started. There, and I think you should see a copy of Bookmanager on your screen now. And so we're going to start off by looking up a book, ordering it, and then putting it on, and then making it a prepay. So I'm going to start by going into the inventory file, and I'm going to search for author Bill Peet. I'll just interrupt for a second. I'm going to go to the setup screen. I forgot to show you this in the beginning. We're making the prepay option right now a optional opt-in thing. So if you go to the ordering setup, there is a new option down at the bottom that says enable special order prepay system. This will probably become automatic once we've determined that most people find this useful. You can turn it off, you can turn it on, but for the most part, here we go. So I think we're going to work with a book called Kermit the Hermit. I'm going to reserve this book. Now I don't have any on order, so I'm going to select a quantity. Then I'm going to use my own account. And this is normally where you would pretty much finish off with your order. However, there's a new option down here with prepay enabled. You can say that this book needs to be prepaid. So I'm going to say yes. Saving the entry with my clerk code. This new window pops up now and it says, well, are you sure you want to set up a new held prepay? And yes, we do. This is going to create a point of sale transaction with this ISBN and in a held state. So I press enter. It tells you at the bottom that it has created the held, and now I can go to it, or if I can just escape, I can also go back to my screen here and look for maybe Cowardly Clyde is the other book we were wanting. So we can reserve that as well. And I'm going to also prepay this one. So in theory, I've ordered and reserved 2 items, so I'm ready to go and take the payment. So I'm going to go to the existing held prepay. This takes me to number 4, point of sale, with the held transaction. What I need to do is get into this now, edit it. And you'll notice that this is new. This is the status for a prepay. It's been set up for that. You can work with these statuses and change them. The usual way is use B for back order. And you could just change this to a regular sale. And I can change this one to a regular sale. So this is how it might show up if you were just going to sell an item. But if you want to take any item, in fact, at any time, you can go to B for back order and say prepay the item. and back order and prepay the item. I'm going to show you a little bit about what happens if you are in, if I'm going to go to number 1 now and see if I can find this one. I'm going to just delete this for the moment to show you what happens. If we're looking at a transaction, and if we add one of these as a prepay, in fact, I can copy this. I'm going to just remember that ISBN. I'm going to delete it from here. So let's say we have an item, and from this approach, I want to add another new entry. I'm going to paste in the ISBN. I don't have any stock. So this, again, is our new option prepay item. And if I'm automatically taken to the reserve screen where I can complete this, but if I don't do this right now and I escape, you'll see that I'm in the sale, and it is going to charge for both items. However, this prepay is in a question mark or a red state saying, well, if you're going to prepay it, you better get some on order. So I'm going to highlight this again, hit R for reserve, and then I'm just going to hit enter. And when you hit R for reserve and press enter, it fills in the customer for me already. In this case, because I'm in the sale and I'm prepaying it, there is no prepay option because it would be redundant. So I now have 2 items and I'm ready to complete the sale. So you'll notice the customer has been, so the price that you're charging, the discount and everything is all finalized, including their points. They will receive points at this point. You will collect the tax and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go to the point of sale tendering screen, and let's just say we used cash. So I'm going to page up to not bother printing a receipt. So this transaction is complete now. The prepay issue has been changed to an O at the end to indicate that it's actually on order as well. It's been prepaid and it's in the ordering system. It's not in red. So we're now, it's basically done, and we're going to wait until the book arrives. Now I want to take you to number, I'm just going to tab to get in here to show you that there is no sale for this item. It is a special order, it's on order. So at this point, it doesn't affect your sales or anything. However, the money's been collected. And if you're interested in what happens in the point of sale, I'm going to go to number 4 now before we, or I'm sorry, I'm going to do a miscellaneous and I'm going to subtotal a day's sales. In today's sales, we don't have, looks like somebody did do something here. This was a different transaction, but there is further down here, the prepay items are being, the amount paid on prepays, I've got 2 of them here, was for $29.98. And that is gone into sort of a liability account to say that when this comes into stock, it will relieve that. So it is not recorded in today's sales, okay? This other sale must be for something else that somebody was doing. Okay, so that's the way the point of sale tendering looks at this point. We've created a new, if you're in the general ledger, there's a new account number, 327, and we're calling it prepay. This will be automatically added to your system. And it's kind of like the other thing, the receivables and where we store them there. Back to our sale. Another really important addition to Bookmanager now is in number 6. When we go there, you're going to see a new segment of history. When you have complete history going, you're going to see an area called active. And this is showing you now everything that is actively on order, either in the point of sale or as a held sale or prepay. It's going to roll up all of the customer's activity and show you a date order of everything they have currently active, not picked up, not filled in. This item is showing that on July 7th, under the invoice, it was an issued and it's on order. And over on the right, we're merging we mixed the on order status. So this is a pending order with Raincoast. So right at a glance, we can see what's happening here. Quite often before, you do a history of orders, just find the orders, or if you wondered if they had some stuff to pick up, then you might do a history of sales. and look at it that way. No, nothing to be picked up. And so it was kind of clumsy. Whereas if I do a history complete and leave it at that, it's very easy for me to, at a glance, see everything. So it's also easy to jump. When you press tab, is a lot of people didn't know, that's a one way to get into the bottom half of your screen is pressing tab, then selecting the item that you want to. And if I want to look at it from the point of sale, I press 4 and I should go to that sale. If I press 6 to go back to the customer, tab to go in. And if I'm interested in looking at this order, then I just press 1. And now I'm looking at the order. So those are some new things, and this should be welcome. The on order area you'll notice is in yellow, and that's because this is on order, but it is a prepaid item versus something that wasn't. For instance, if I was to order something else, let's just pick this one that keeps, let's pick something like this. And if I want to order one, this one's not going to be prepaid. I'm just going to order a copy for myself. Now, when I go to number 6, I'm expecting to see the prepay has grown, or the active area has grown, and you will see that there's the item that I just ordered, but it's not in the point of sale in any shape or form, but it is in the orders file. So at least you can see it, one thing, that I have 3 books. And down here, you can see in the orders history, it is showing me these same 3 items here. This one is in white, indicating that it's just normal. These ones in yellow are prepaid. So there's some good indicators. The next thing that's going to happen is that we need to receive these items. I'm going to go to 8 order processing, and I'm going to search for Raincoast. And what have I got here? I've got, there's Cowardly Clyde. I'm in here with the other ones. So I'm just going to quickly process this. I'm going to mark the order as sent without sending it. So this is going to get it on order so that I can now do some receiving. Okay. So let's go into the receiving now and pretend that we've got the shipment has arrived from Raincoast. I'm going to use question mark and generate a random invoice number. I'm going to hit page down. And I think it was Cowardly. I'm not going to bother receiving them all, but there's Cowardly Clyde. It's on order, special order for me. We're also showing that there is a prepay here on it, just as information. I'm going to receive this now. And I need to disable labeling, but I'm not going to do any labeling for this item. Could not open the printer. I'll set up. Let's turn my printers off here. My book label printer, so we don't have a printer to show you. Okay. What was the other book? Was Kermit. Normally, of course, this would be part of a whole bunch of receiving. So here's the other book. Wonder if it's okay. So I have received these 2 items. This process does not change at all. I notice there's a prepay issue goes in red. That's interesting. I'll have something I'll have to fix. That's because it's in an interim state now. It's no longer on order. That should be changed, but that will be resolved in a moment. When we exit receiving, the process is exactly the same as before. I'm just going to have it automatically, or I'm going to have it add to there and add it to the point of sale. And I don't want labels. I'm just changing those options for this demo. So I'm going to page down and process it. So apparently the magic has happened. We'll go back to the main menu. Let's go to number 6 and see if my order is sitting here. Things have changed a little bit here. I'm now seeing I have a held sale with 2 items that were redeemed. This item is still outstanding. So the normal way might be, I'm just going to copy this ISBN that we recommend, is that you wouldn't look at it that way. The books have come to the front of the store. You need to notify your customers. So you go to number 4, and I'm going to pretend that wasn't there. And then I'm going to scan this book that I have in my hand. and I find it on hold with this customer, and I'm going, okay, this is the one I want. You'll notice over here that it's giving you a tip here that this R means it's a prepay redeem. It's only one character, but you'll learn these. This was the original prepayment, but we're dealing with this guy now. So I'm going to press enter on this. And sure enough, I have 2 items now to be picked up. 2 items, prepay, redeem. There is no money involved in this because it has been prepaid. So I need to edit this. Well, normally what we would do is then we would, as if you're using the logging system, we would notify the customer. We would print and notify the customer. Let's send an email. Sure, we can actually do this because it's me. So who is emailing me? So the message is, the standard message is pretty clean. It's basically these items are ready for pickup, and it's telling you now that it's been prepaid, which means there's going to be no money required when these come in. So let's send this. That being done, the log has been updated as it normally does as an email notice, and we're waiting for the customer to come in. So in they come. We scan the book, as I showed you just a moment ago. We find the transaction. We now need to just edit it and clean it up. So inside here, there's really nothing to do. If I just press enter, it will even bypass that there's no money to change hands, and we're ready to just give them a receipt and out the door they go. But let's escape for a moment. And let's say because they did find another a book. I don't know. Maybe it was Sam Sheep Can't Sleep. Why not? It's a bargain book for $3.99. They just found that. So we're going to add this to the sale. So we are allowed to mix and match. This is the stuff that's coming in, and this is the item that they picked up. And so now they do owe us $4.20. I'm going to page down. I'm going to do a receipt. I'm just going to show you as a preview. This should work to see what this might look like. So I'm going to page down now to complete the sale. This one is just normal sale. This one, Cowardly Clyde, and it was previously paid. It's been taken now. So that receipt is fairly informational. So now we look at the completed sale, and you'll notice the prepay has been redeemed. It is no longer in yellow, indicating it's no longer active. And also, the item has now been sold as you would normally expect through a sale. So that's all pretty cool. That is the basics of the prepay system. I think what I can show you now is maybe more frequently there's an online order. And this is a bit, let's see what we've got. So I'm going to search the log for online orders. And we've got some new online orders. I don't know which one we're going to pick. This one doesn't have any prepayment, but let's try this one. Here's an example, okay? So here's an order that just came in. And it looks like, sure enough, 2 items, these items are in stock. So what I would normally do at this point is I would P to print, and I would do a pick list, and then we can get these books, make sure we've got them, and then come back to the computer. So we're going to need to charge the customer is expecting to be charged $35.65. Rather than wait for this special order to come in and charge them later and confuse the customer, we'd like to just process the whole payment right now and set these items aside for them to pick up if they want to pick them up now or wait for everything. But this item, we want to change to a prepay. When you have prepay enabled and when your online order comes into Bookmanager, if we detect that it is that they want it prepaid, we will automatically change this to prepay issue. Otherwise, it would have come in as backordered out of stock, which you may have seen before, which you can, of course, modify. Now, I need to edit this. I've now checked I've got the books in stock. So I'm going to get inside here. And again, this is in red, reminding me, well, you know, if you're going to issue a prepay, you better get a copy on order. So this is where I might check pub stock, and I'm going to get it from Hachette, because I'm going to get it from Ingram. So I'm going to reserve. Oh, it looks like I've already got something on order. So maybe I'll just reserve against the Hachette book existing order. So the red went away now because the prepay is now on, it's also on order, which is what we wanted to do. You'll also notice there's a 1P. You've seen in the past maybe 1B. It's to indicate that this is a prepay and not something being taken. The other thing you might want to note is that there's 4 items and 1 prepay, and this count of 4 is to help you know that you should have 4 books in your hand that are going to be set behind the counter for the customer to pick up. So I'm ready to now, basically, I'm done with this order. It's good. Here's the important step. I'm tendering out a sale. Computer doesn't really know whether the customer is here to take these items home or not. So it's asking you the question. It says, well, you've issued a prepay, and the logical thing to do is to allow this to complete, but create a new held for the 3 items that, or for the items that we do have in stock. So it says, for the 4 items in stock, do you need a held created for future pickup? If the customer was standing in front of me, I would say no, because I'm going to give them these 4 books, and this prepayment will be dealt with later on. But in this case, this was an online order. They are going to come into the store, but I'm going to say that I need to, for accounting purposes, I need this. So I'm going to say yes. Now I'm going to take their Visa, and I'm going to process the payment for $35.65. So let's pretend that just happened. And I hit page up. At the end of the transaction, it's just telling you the summary of what it was trying to do. 4 sold items, that would be this one, and this one, were changed to you're going to see in a second, they were changed to a prepay issue redeemed. In other words, it was issued and redeemed all in the one step. So it's 4 in-stock items were now added as a prepay redeemed to a new held transaction. These items should be set aside for pickup, which is what I mentioned. So that's just information. We can press this. Let's see what happened. So looking at this screen, there is, these ones are redeemed. They're still in yellow, and that means that the redemption is in a held state. And those, otherwise that would have gone gray. So that's just telling you that this isn't fully dealt with yet, but that's from this point of view, it is. The other thing that's different is that the log is telling you, and it's considered done, okay? Because any notifications that you're going to do, future ones you're going to do, other than the one that we're about to do right now, is going to, is going to be done now, because usually the next step, and this is a good place to do this, is from this transaction. The customer has sent in an online order. They're expecting information or a confirmation, basically just about the online order. They don't need to know everything else that they've ordered in the past and so on. This is a confirmation of this. So I would do it. I would have done, and I could have done this at the when I was finalizing the sale. I'm going to print a notice, and I'm going to send an email. Now I got to at bookmanager.com, because I really don't want them to see that. And this is just, I'm going to update so that they do this again. But so I'm sending this now. I'm going to send an email to the customer. So same as the last time. And if I look at here, it says, this is paid, this is paid, this is paid. These items are ready for pickup and they're paid for. The following items are on order and it's been prepaid. So a really nice information email, I think. Texting is a little smaller, a little cleaner, but similar. So what I what you'll notice here is that the log would normally have said email, indicating that I've sent them an email and now it's in my queue of logged items to follow up on if they don't pick it up. But this transaction is already complete. So what we had to do is do some fancy footwork with the log. You created the email notice, which was normal when we sent the email, and it would have been then waiting for it. But then there was another log entry made automatically to indicate that it's done, and it says see the held with the in-stock items. So that's cleaned that up. Now I need to go to number 6 and look at this customer, and I can go, basically I want to look at the held sales. So I'm just using this, going to 6, hitting tab, and then I'm going to press 4. And this shows me the transaction with the books that we set behind the counter. And these are ready to be picked up, again, not charged. And the email notice that we sent is logged here to tell you that you did send them a notice, but the notice was sent from the other invoice, from the finished invoice. So that keeps all of your accounting and your notifications all in sync. That is one method with the online order, and it does show you one of the things I sort of like about this is if I go back to the go to 6 and tab, if I look at the invoice, in this case I believe I do, well, there is an entry there with this issued. I can press 4. Is that I've sort of left this in its original state, and I haven't modified it, moved things around, so it makes it easier to, when things go wrong, if I haven't disturbed the original order too much. Of course, you can always look at it online to see how it works. Okay, I think there is, in the point of sale, just a subtotal now. It's actually recorded more, the activity, the books that were picked up are now deemed as sold in their categories, and they're no longer in the prepaid stuff. So there was, today we did $63 in issues, and actually $30 of that was redeemed, which is then converted into sales at the top. So we managed to keep that all tidy as well. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And this was one of my first attempts at trying to do a video to give you guys some help. I hope you found that useful. I'll probably do another one that gets into some more complicated areas, but please feel free to, I hope this was helpful. And I encourage you to start playing with the prepay. You don't have to go all in. There's a bit of a transition if you've been doing a lot of them on account and stuff. And so switching from an old system to a new system, if you have a lot of staff, this can be confusing for them. So, but you can turn this option on and just almost play with it yourself by only prepaying certain items and then just working through it gradually. Once you feel comfortable enough, then you can try and I spent with Mosaic, we took 298 prepaid orders that were in our prepaid through our on-account system and converted them all to the new prepay system by relieving the on-account charges. That way, the staff were basically now only having to deal with the new system and not a hybrid of the two. It did take me the better part of the day to go through every transaction that was on account, and there were some tricks to find those items because they were all over the place, but I might save that for another video, or you can work with one of the support staff here and they can probably assist you. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed it.